It's 10 o'clock and it's time for the council to be in session. Ms. Goldberg's here. Mr. Pacheco, Mr. Savornich, we have 4 members present. Sergeant, you better go get the rest of them. 8 members, we need 2 for a quorum. We have Mr. Bernstein, and we have 9 members now. Mr. Fuhr, Ms. Goldberg, Ms. Mistakowski, Mr. Pacheco, Mr. Padilla, Mr. Savornich, Mrs. Walters. We need 1 member for a quorum. Sergeant, would you do your duty? Call the roll.
Bernson, Chick, Fuhr, Galanter, Goldberg, Hernandez, Holden, Miskowski, Pacheco, Padilla, Ridley, Thomas, Swornich, Wax, Walters, Ferraro, 10 members present and a quorum, Mr. President.
Okay, the council will please come to order. This is a meeting of the City Council for the City of Los Angeles on the 27th day of July, 1999. There are 15 council districts in the city. The regular meeting days are Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We are currently being... Mr. Bernson, please. The regular meeting days are Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We are currently being viewed by cable subscribers throughout the Los Angeles area on Channel 35, and we're also being monitored by the council phone. The first order of business.
Approval of the minutes.
All right, Mrs. Mistakowski moves. Mr. Pacheco seconds. If there's no objections, unanimous vote. Next item.
Commendatory resolutions for approval.
If there's no objections, unanimous vote. Next item.
Mr. President, you have a confirmation of city official, item number 5. It's Ms. Esther Thunny, tenant member for the Housing Authority of the City of Los Angeles.
Mrs. Esther Tunney, this is a reappointment. Is there any discussion on this reappointment? If not, prepare the roll on the motion by Mr. Savornich. Tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
Ms. Tunney, you've been reconfirmed, and we want to thank you for serving the city. And we'll send it forthwith.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Next item.
Items noticed for public hearing. Item 1 is Improvement Assessment Revolving Trust Fund.
Any discussion on item number 1? Is there anybody in the chamber who wants to be heard on item number 1? Seeing none, the public hearing is closed. Mr. Bernson moves on this. Any discussion? If not, prepare the roll. Tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
That is approved. Next item.
Item number 2 is Street Lighting District Assessment.
Is there anybody in the chamber who wants to be heard on item number 2?
It's also an ordinance.
I know it. Seeing none, the public hearing is closed. It's an ordinance. Mr. Savornich moves on this item, and we'll hold it on the desk until we get another member. Next item.
Item number 3 is the Planning and Land Use Management Committee report.
Is there any discussion on item? Anybody want to be heard on item 3? Seeing none, the public hearing is closed. Any discussion on item 3? Mr. Fuhr moves. Prepare the roll. Tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
That is approved. Next item, let's vote for item 3 now. We have the Item 2, rather, we have, it's an ordinance. Prepare the roll on the motion by Mr. Savornich. Tabulate the vote.
12 eyes.
And that is approved. Next item,
Item number 4 is a Planning and Land Use Committee report. It needs to be amended inasmuch as the ordinance is to be presented.
okay, is there anybody in the chamber who wants to be heard on item 4? Is seeing none, the public hearing is closed. There's Mr. Bernson moved that the amendment be that the ordinance is here. Is that the? All right, prepare the roll on 4 as amended and the ordinance. Tabulate the vote.
12 eyes.
That is approved. Forthwith on that item. Next item.
Items for which public hearings have been held, items 6 through 16.
Okay, are there any special by council members? 6 through 16?
Not here, good.
If not, prepare the roll on 6 through 16. Tabulate the vote.
12 eyes.
Those are approved. The next item,
Items for which public hearings have not been held, items 17 through 29.
we have a card on 26, 27, and 30. How far do we go?
29.
Okay, anybody want to be heard on any of those items, 17 through 29, with the exception of 26 and 27? We have a request that 24 go to committee. Is there any objections to that? 24 to go to Public Safety Committee. We'll call it special, but it's,
Shouldn't go to public safety, that should go to planning.
No, 24 shouldn't go to anything, but I talked
okay,
about it.
all right.
No, no, any-
Just want to
All right, quiet, please. 29, 17 through 29, with the exception of 24, 26, and 27. Prepare the roll. Tabulate the vote.
12 eyes.
Those are approved. Next item.
Next item, Mr. President, our item 30 is a closed session item. However, the city attorney has requested that that be withdrawn from the agenda and referred to the city attorney.
All right, is there any objections to that? Item 30, Venice Town Council. Seeing none, that will be the order.
And item 31 is also a closed session. However, that should be received and filed inasmuch as it has been acted on previously.
Okay, there's no objections. 31 is received and filed. Next item. Forthwith on 29. Next item.
On the supplemental agenda, item number 32 is a confirmation of Jonathan Levy for the Director of Bureau Street Lighting.
Mr. Levy. Mr. Wax.
President, members of council, this appointment comes with the unanimous recommendation of the 3 members of the Public Works Committee, Councilman Walters, Councilman Padilla, and myself. It appears that we have an extraordinarily well-qualified individual to hold this position. It would add greatly to the city, and we move unanimous approval of the appointment.
Okay, any discussion? If not, prepare the roll. Tabulate the vote.
12 eyes.
Mr. Levy, you've been confirmed, and welcome to the city family. Where were you before?
With the city of San Diego.
Okay, you're gonna San Diego-ize Los Angeles?
Are you going to go into closed session for the salary?
Mr. Wax, the salary, you want to go into closed session, or you want to make a motion?
Well, I'll move. I think these things should be public.
Okay, what is the salary? What is it?
That's $20,666.
Okay. Mr. Wax moves that the salary be approved. $120,666. Prepare the roll. Tabulate the vote.
12 eyes.
That's approved also. Forthwith on all this. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next item,
Items for which public hearings have not been held, items 33 and 34.
okay, we have a card on 34. Anybody want to be heard on any of those items? 33 and 34. Anybody want to be heard on 33? If not, prepare the roll, tabulate the vote on 33.
12 eyes.
Next item.
Next item, Mr. President, item number 35 is also a closed session item.
Whoa. Hold that on the desk.
Item number 24 was called special.
All right, Mr. Holden, we have a request that go to, it's the Department of Building and Safety liaison have requested that they be referred to Public Safety Committee.
Yeah, I understand. I want to speak to the issue, Mr. President.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and speak to it. You have the floor.
Yeah, Mr. President, members, there's been a request with the mayor's supports for video signage on Wilshire Boulevard at Serrano. That's the new project that's going into Sports Aroma Sporix. And that's already been signed off, approved by the council. However, I think we need to have some knowledge regarding the technology before the engineering department, building and safety can sign off on it. So I was asking that at least that they put in place an acceptance test specification, so to speak, for these kind of signage at these specific sites. So it's not that we're trying to build these kind of videos all over the city. I'm just concerned about the safety aspect of it. So if we want to be site specific as we were with the sports arena, fine. Let's say that in that case, Mr. President, we can amend the motion to say that the place that we're going to study is 3600 block of Wilshire Boulevard, and that becomes site specific. And in an attempt not to hold the project up, this is something that the mayor's office has been pushing. This is something that needs to be done before they can sign off and even finish the project in that area. So you don't want to delay it. So let them come back with some specification relating to
Well, the only
state-of-the-art technology. and then-
You that come from the Sacramento establishment, you never did things in one day, Mr. Holden.
Oh, no,
You
he's not
always
doing
do-
one day. He's still
Yeah.
got to come back to, he's got
Yeah.
to come back to the department to tell us
Yeah.
what the technology is.
Yeah, so what's the difference if we send it to committee and get it that way?
Because it's in the
But, you know,
process.
you believe in the committee system?
No, it's before building safety, now to decide whether they can approve it or disapprove it. And the mayor's pushing it, so, hey, I don't care what you do, you may never do it.
Okay.
The fact of the matter is, I'm saying
All right,
that,
we're-
ask the departments to give
We're
you,
having a lot of people want to be heard, and...
Let 'em be
and-
heard, Mr.
and,
President.
well, it's council members. Ms. Goldberg?
Yes, I think that it is probably going to be a site-specific issue rather than a citywide ordinance, which was the only part of it I wanted to talk to, because I think that there are going to be individual occasions where we're going to want to do this and others where we won't, and we're not going to know that till we look at each individual site. So I would just urge that we do this site specifically rather than try to do it citywide until we've had more experience with it.
All right, Ms. Sikowski?
Thank you, Mr. President. I think it's appropriate that it go to committee because although it may be that it will be a site-specific approval, we need an ordinance to give guidelines to the city as to where and how rarely these are used, and I think it should be rather rare. We already have a significant number potentially in the works, and I think it's happening under a site-specific control with variances or modification in each specific site, and we need to have a handle on it citywide and indicate, I believe, that it's appropriate that we have information like transportation studies, which we don't have yet, what kind of site these should be allowed in if they are considered, and we don't have any of those guidelines. So we need to have a fairly comprehensive look at this, also look at what's happening. West Hollywood is just starting and has actually 2 already in the city of West Hollywood, but we don't want this to proliferate and after the fact, come up with guidelines and an ordinance. We need proactive determination as to where sites specifically these could be or should be allowed, and my view is that it should be on very, very rare occasions. And I think all of that can be better done by coming in with an ordinance overall, that if we do it site-specific and then think of an ordinance afterwards, we may be too late. And I also believe that this should go, as Mr. Burns suggested, to the planning department. That has been the planning committee. That has been the committee that has generally had an overview of sign ordinances. We're getting those issues again in some billboard issues, in other signage. We had it with the inflatables as another matter. So I think we really need a comprehensive look at signage, particularly as the technology is changing and newer opportunities and newer kinds of signs, much, much larger than billboards ever were, are upon us, and we need that comprehensive treatment. So I believe that coming to committee is appropriate.
Mr. Burnson.
Yes, members of the council, I think Cindy is correct. It is essentially it is a planning matter more than anything else. But I think what's before us today, what Mr. Holden has proposed, is the idea of going forward in developing a plan, an ordinance, whether it's citywide or whether it's location-specific or specific plan-specific. So I would urge that we approve Mr. Holden's motion today and then refer it to the Department of Planning and perhaps to Building and Safety if they want. But I really think planning is where it really needs to be developed. And they come back with the ordinances for us that will go to committee at that point. So I would suggest, rather than sending it directly to committee now, and I would move as a substitute motion, that we approve the concept of Mr. Holden's motion, because we should move forward. This is a very important thing. We see more and more of this type of proliferation around our city today. Unless we take an affirmative step to say that we're going to do something about it, we're not going to. It's going to languish for months and maybe years again. So I would urge that we vote yes on Mr. Holden's motion today, refer it to the Planning and Building and Safety Departments, urge them to come back with draft ordinances on their recommendations to the joint committees, and then we'll bring it to the council, and I would so move.
Mr. Holden.
Mr. President, I agree. This matter to approve this kind of a technology at this specific site is already before the Building and Safety Committee. They're voting on it. And I think it's risky business to vote on something that you don't know what the criteria for acceptance is, acceptance test, acceptance specification. So all the specs that's going to be required in order to approve or disapprove of these kinds of signage should be put in place first. So that's why I'm moving that we go forward and say up to 60 days, that'll be fine.
Mrs. Walters.
Thank you, Mr. President. I heard Mr. Burnson asking Ms. Miskowski if she had a problem with this motion. I have a problem with this motion. I think it should go to the committee before it's voted on by council. There's not enough here to establish this as policy, and these things, we're getting far too much sign pollution as it is. And these things need to be looked at very carefully, and as others have mentioned before, I think it is a site-specific thing and should be determined by where they're going to be located, not that we're going to give a blanket policy adoption that people can locate them. If I'd had my druthers, it wouldn't have been at the arena site. I just think that we're overloaded with unsightly signs and what have you throughout the city. So I am opposed to Mr. Burnson's motion and would ask that it go to committee before it's adopted.
Thank you, Mrs. Members of the council, we have a very important, very, very important individual in the city council chamber today. He used to be a policeman when he was a legitimate person. Since then, he's been on the public payroll in Washington and in Sacramento, and he's a member of the Public Employees Relations Board. He's a board member, Antonio Amador. Tony? Some of the old timers remember, it's been so long. Tony, good to have you here. Okay, Mrs. Chick.
Yes, I just wanted to clarify that if we approve this motion and then send it to committee, okay, and the chair is fine with that, and I could support that, but I would like to exclude the direction to prepare an ordinance. I think that often we give directions to department staff and city attorney to prepare an ordinance before there's been clear direction from the council that that's what we want. So I would say that I would amend Mr. Holden's ordinance to exclude that language, including an ordinance as needed, and then wait to hear back from Public Safety Committee their feedback. Okay, thank you.
Ms. Shake, but you're all going to leave it to be site-specific at 3600 Wilshire Boulevard. I amended it to include that.
I'm fine saying site-specific because I'm going to wait for feedback from city staff and committee before we do anything
All right, Ms.
definitive.
Goldberg.
Takes care of my need.
All right. Ms. Sikowski.
We're thinking the same wavelength, and I just wanted to add to Ms. Walters that if we approve it today and then have Mr. Bernstein and I talk jointly about either a joint committee or discussion, so that we start giving guidelines to the staff as to where or if or how an ordinance should be drafted and what should be included, because it has many, many facets, and including the numbers and or whether or not, even in a site-specific case, how many we should be considering in the city. So we can't just direct the staff to go do an ordinance without having it brought back to committee and having a fairly comprehensive, lengthy discussion in committee as to what and how comprehensively that ordinance should be put together and what should be in it. So I think there's no problem in adopting it today, asking for that direction, having it in committee in the very near future to start giving staff that direction and including all of these issues that have been raised today.
Okay. What is the motion we have now?
Adopt it and then
Adopt the,
Back to, adopt a motion?
Is to adopt the motion today, which establishes the intent to act on it, to send it to the departments, and then to council with their recommendations, and then back to council in the ordinance form. No? No? Okay, okay.
Take out the ordinance, and there
Okay.
was also an amendment to specifically look immediately at one site, which
Right.
is pending, which is 3600 Wilshire
Okay, I
Boulevard.
see what you're driving at. Okay, that's fine, I don't care. I want to see what they come back with. That's right.
Okay.
Rather
So
than
you
lock
got
ourselves
that
in.
motion?
That's right.
Okay, prepare the roll. Tabulate the vote.
11 ayes, 1 no.
That is approved. We'll send that forthwith. Next item.
item number 26, call special, you have a card?
Yeah, Mr. Shapiro.
Mr. President and council members, item number 26 concerns $49,732 that was found, and the new distribution of it being made to 10 different places. I think it's very interesting that this money, which involves SEPA 3 and 4 savings, was found in the council district number 4. Why was it laying there so long? And how come it was unused for such a long period of time, where it dates where the money was found? And that's one good point. And I think it's a great idea, John, that you're finally taking this money and you're giving it out to people with horses. Geez, that's great, $5,000. Boy and Girls Club, that's always great. Hollywood Free Clinic and the Conservation Corps, New Direction for Youth, that's great. I mean, but if you found this money laying around, maybe every one of the other 15 council people can look around too, and maybe they can find the same $50,000, and maybe they can give it to it, so then the horses will have something to eat. I think this is one way to spend money that you're doing around here, but basically, it doesn't appear to me the best way. I think there's certain ways when you find money, which you didn't realize is there, and money's laying around, and it can't be used effectively, it should be done. But I think there should be more planning involved, Mr. President.
Okay, the item 26, the public hearing is closed. Any discussion on this item? If not, prepare the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 eyes.
That is approved. Next item,
Item number 27, you have a card.
Mr. Shapiro.
Mr. President, item number 27 involves $8.1 million that somebody, Joel Wax, seconded by Laura Chick, has decided that you're going to listen to the audit that was conducted about a year ago and found that you lost approximately $800,000 because you didn't pay the telephone bills on time. Well, maybe you're not paying other bills on time. In fact, I know for a fact other bills are not being paid on time. So this is one attempt made to see that money is transferred, which you got laying around. You got this $8 million laying around in one fund, put it into another fund, and you're making sure that the GSD, General Services Department, the petroleum fund that they have, somehow or other it's not involved in this. The only account that will not be handling this matter is GSD Petroleum account. So evidently you don't have enough money to do it. But I'm glad to see that somebody is aware that 2% discount and 3% and more sometimes on cash discounts should be taken. When I was in business, it amounted to hundreds of thousands of dollars for me. And somehow or other, the city doesn't take advantage of cash discounts. In fact, they don't even pay on time. And when they don't keep these merchants waiting, then the merchants do not like to do business with the city. And that's not a good position to be in, because if they don't like to do business with you, then the prices you get aren't going to be the best prices that's possible. I think it's a good idea. I think it's a step forward, and I think everybody should become aware of what's happening in here and make sure that the city bills are paid on time and that the vendors are kept in a very happy frame of mind. Mr. President.
All right, Mr. Wax.
Yes, Mr. President, I appreciate Mr. Shapiro's comments. He's right on target. This is a continuing effort to change our entire materials management process, our whole re-engineering of our purchasing system, and the ability to make timely payments, not only to avoid penalties, but to get the benefit of discounts, which, given the large purchasing power of this city, these discounts, the savings amount to millions of dollars that the city has, for a variety of reasons, not always obtained in the past. In fact, have lost them. This could inure to the benefit of the city over and over and over again as we continue to purchase, and as more of the semi-autonomous departments like DWP come online, the savings potential is even greater. But the ability to pay our bills on time and to get the benefit of discounts that are paid only if, in fact, we do pay on time is an enormous benefit, and this should recover now for the city and for the future, save the city many millions of dollars in our purchasing program, as well as to avoid the kind of penalties that we saw with late payment of bills, and such as the telephone bill. So this is only one step along the way. It's only part of a much larger package that we've been bringing you from time to time, but it does represent reform, and it does represent a substantial benefit to the taxpayers.
Okay, we have item number 27 before us. Prepare the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 eyes.
That is approved. Next item.
Item number 34, you have a card.
Yeah, Leonard Shapiro.
Mr. President, this was the third item that I signed on. I think it's extremely important. It concerns the ITA department and big problems that are now being talked about and being raised. And Mark Ridley Thomas is suggesting that you hire this Miller Canfield legal firm to help you. Right now, the City Council is on record that they favor open access. And Mayor Reardon is also on record that he doesn't favor open access, that he favors giving the contract to AT&T, his buddies, and make sure that that's one way, he says, to make sure that all the necessary construction will be built. I think it's necessary to be sure that you get construction built, but I think the consumer's interest is paramount and should be paramount. You don't want one outfit like AT&T is buying up all the cable companies in the area as much as they can. I think they control 75% of them right now if all the transfers go through. They're buying them up, and they can start raising the rates for anybody who wants to use the high-speed access, which will be available. pay $50 or $100 a month to make sure that the prices that are being paid by the general public who have computers and who want to use this high-speed access, open access, you have to be sure there's competition. And if there's no competition on the market, which it looks like right now there won't be as far as cable is concerned, then the city council has to step in and see that the public's interest is being taken care of. You're doing that so far. The mayor is opposing you. I urge that you continue to do what you're doing, Mr. President.
Well, we sure appreciate that, Mr. Shapiro. All right, 34. We have 34 before us. Is there any discussion? If not, prepare the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Mr. President, we have voted on item 28, which is a proposed transfer of money from the reserve to a new general city purpose line item. I've talked to the maker of the motion, Ms. Goldberg. I'd like to have that referred to committee, as I would like all matters that relate to potential reserve fund hits. So I'd like to move to reconsider 28 for purposes of sending to committee, and I've told the maker of the motion, Ms. Goldberg, that I'll get it back to council
Item
quickly.
28?
Correct.
Okay, is there any objection to reconsideration of item 28 for the purpose of sending it to committee?
Thank you.
Seeing none, that will be the order.
Yeah, I'll handle it quickly.
Yeah. Next item.
Before going into closed session, Mr. President, do you want to have public comment?
Yeah, Mr. Shapiro.
Mr. President and council members, I'd like to talk about the LA Bridges program. And right now, the amount of work that's being done by Mark Whitley Thomas to be sure that you get an evaluation of the program. You've been spending roughly $11 million a year on different forms of anti-gang programs, supposedly directed through the middle schools to be sure that the youth are at risk.
Rudy.
Are made sure they don't join gangs. Well, you had a baseline evaluation turned into you, which is not a real evaluation, but all they did in here was they got figures, how many people attended what, and what was said there. Now they want this to be evaluated to see if the program is effective. The program, as far as I can see, is not effective. Malcolm W. Klein, professor from the University of Southern California, made this report in October '97 about the guiding the LA's response to street gangs, a project failure. Now, he said that he goes into detail in a 30-page report explaining exactly why he said it's a failure, why the money isn't being properly directed and being properly used. Now, I know Mark Whitley Thomas is doing what he can, but the point still is that after giving $11 million, almost 3 years in a row, you still have no evaluation. And they know the fact that they drew a baseline evaluation means they know that evaluation is necessary. And the fact that Malcolm Klein, professor, made this statement that it wasn't working at that time in '97 indicates there's a good chance that corrections were not made and that it's still a failure. Now, if it's a failure and you're giving away $11 million from your general fund, somebody should look into this a little more carefully and find out why. I contacted Malcolm Klein, the professor, last week, and he told me nobody's contacted him to ask him to do any follow-up on his report to see if the program is any more effective today than it was 3 years ago. Why hasn't anybody contacted him? You can be angry at a person because he makes a critical report, but that doesn't mean you should ignore him. He's well known in the anti-gang fight throughout the United States. He's well respected and he's well looked up to. I think Malcolm Klein should become part of this evaluation project, and he should help you to get a good evaluator if you don't want to use his resources. My point is this: you're spending the money, there's a chance to do something about it and do it correctly and become effective, because even though crime is down, gang activity is staying stagnant, and gang activity causes today plenty of drive-by shootings and plenty of homicides, and it cannot be ignored because the figures are down a little. It's still bad. Thank
you, Mr. Shapiro.
Mr. Klein did his best to it, and he should not be ignored. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Shapiro. We have no further speakers for public comment. Next order of business, Madam Clerk.
Motions for posting and referral.
Without objection, that will be the order.
You have excuses on the desk. Councilmember Hernandez requests to be excused from today's meeting and August 3rd, 4th, and 6th, and September 24th for city business. Need a
Without
motion?
objection, that'll be the order. Mr. Wax moves, Mr. Padilla seconds. Without objection, that'll be the order.
Councilmember Walters requests to be excused November 2nd, 3rd, 5th, 9th, 10th, 12th, and 16th for vacation. Meets council policy.
Mr. Padilla moves, Mr. Pacheco seconds. That'll be the order.
That clears the desk, Mr.
Okay,
President.
do we have any closed session items?
Yes.
Okay,
Item number 35.
Okay, members of the council, people in the audience, we do have a closed session item before us, so could we please prepare the council chambers for closed session? Those persons not involved with the closed session, would you please excuse yourselves at this time? Continue that.
Very quiet dignity that I think was impressive. And I particularly want to thank him for his taking the helm over the last few months and making the transition with the loss of our longtime CAO, Mr. Comrie, when he retired, taking it so well, so easily, so comfortably, that I think it was a very smooth transition and the council didn't feel that loss. But now with you leaving as well, I'm not so sure we'll be able to fill that tremendous gap of experience and leadership, and particularly in the realm, in the area of employee relations, but across the board. So I want to thank you particularly for your last few months at the helm, which have been wonderful.
Ms. Goldberg?
Well, ERC will never be the same, I'll tell you that. You know, you really are quite remarkable in the encyclopedic nature of your history with the city and with particularly with employee relations. And more than once, both in my committee personnel and on EERC, you have really made a difference in how I looked at a item by simply having a much broader view of what all of the implications are. And that's not going to be replaced. That's not going to be replaced. I think we have to worry, I think, in an institution like this, where all the elected officials are short-timers, that if the staff is also short-timers, that what we're going to end up with is no institutional memory. And it is in a context that you make decisions, particularly about employee relations, contracts, and those kinds of matters. And so, you know, I've enjoyed working with you, and I will miss you dearly. But I will also miss tremendously the reservoir of information that you bring to even the kind of smallest little adjustment that we're talking about, so that you can get a picture of how all of the parts fit in an institution as large and as complicated as this. I wish you the best. I hope you have a wonderful retirement. If you're retiring, I hope whatever you choose to do next is fulfilling and exciting, and I'm sorry, very sorry, that the city is going to lose your abilities and talents and memory and leadership and ability to put things in context that we sorely need.
Mrs. Chick?
Succinctly, sir, you might be a lot taller than I am, but any time you need somebody to tout your heroic deeds and contributions, I'm ready to be there when you were here and after you leave, and I echo everybody's statements. You are a hero to me and to many, and may the term faceless bureaucrat be buried forever after.
Members of the council, Paul did not want any kind of recognition today. We have a resolution for him, and he wanted somebody to slip it under the door so he wouldn't have to accept it from anybody. But let me just say that we know about his city career, but Paul served our country from 1996 to 1999 as a second lieutenant in the United States Army Transportation Corps, which included assignments in Vietnam from 68 to 69 as a platoon leader and as a port liaison officer, served, for which he was awarded the Bronze Star Medal. So we do have a hero here, and we want to thank Paul for the great service he's given to the people of Los Angeles, and also the people of the United States. Paul, congratulations, and we can all gather around. We'll take a picture with oh, well, you didn't press your button until too late, but you can talk, Mr. Burnson.
I'm not going to be lengthy because it's pretty much all been said, but I just want to personally thank you, Paul, for the service you've given to this city through the years. In his quiet, unassuming way, he's let us know the things that needed to be known, and I don't know if people always appreciate that, but I do, and best of wishes to you, and thank you.